So as you saw in the last episode, we made the latching system for the upper and lower box. Previous to that, we made the wheel system. Now we are going to make a handle to finish this project off. I do not think the handle will be as trick as I've modeled it here with carbon fiber tubing and milled aluminum corners. It'll probably just be a piece of 1-inch bent aluminum tube for simplicity, weight, and I'm just lazy. So this handle system relies on a fairly involved hinge system of no one's fault but my own. It will be 3 main assemblies here that has a torsion spring. So this handle is actually sprung loaded to the down position. I did that so that the handle doesn't want to rattle while I'm riding. It's being held up against the box. Now if you'll see a little dedent right there, so when you lift this up, once it's assembled, whoa, you won't go through the box, but once you get to that position, you're gonna see let's see if we can zoom in there, you're gonna see that pin right here latch into that dedent and lock it in place. And then to undo it, we'll pull this lever back and this will drop back down. So let's go into the shop, see if we got everything we need and go from there. Here we go. Here's all the raw materials I believe we're going to need for this assembly, this hinge and handle assembly. We've got our blocks of aluminum. We've got a very nice stainless steel shoulder bolt, some spring pins, some small springs you might recognize from the latching mechanism. I'm going to use the same spring. Always good to double up. Some jumbo torsion springs, a left and a right, and of course my favorite, IGUS bearings. Yay. Make things smooth. We've got some 1-inch tube, 3/8 stainless steel rod, and bar. Everything we need. We're going to start, I believe, with the pivot main boss, which is going to be this blank. Here I thought you might enjoy a full shot of me working on the mill, but this also exemplifies the mundane, because in this first op, on this part, we are just drilling and tapping 3 holes on one part, and there are 2 of these. It takes time, it takes effort, takes some precision, but you gotta do it. Threaded holes matter. Without them, nothing bolts to the other thing. So there you go. There's our threaded holes. All right, the mounting holes are done. What we're gonna do now is take our 3/4 inch end mill and we're gonna make a cavity in this block and a threaded hole that's gonna accept our shoulder bolt, and the cavity will then accept the torsion spring. So let's make that. A little water, never hurts, or coolant. Drop the end mill down about 200 thou for the first pass and drive it in. Here we go. So why take the time to radius those corners? We don't need to, the part doesn't care, it'll still function like this guy. But if you look at these two, which one says, you know what, I care what this part looks like. Not only do I care how it performs, but I care that it looks like, well, I tried. This part says I'm lazy, this part says I'll go the extra mile. So it's up to you. You don't have to radius the corners. It's another operation, it's another tool you have to own, and frankly, radius cutting is kind of a pain in the butt. But I like to do it when I can, and I suggest you do it because if I see that you haven't done it, I will judge you in public, openly, and verbally, just so you know. You've been warned. We are done with the part called the pivot main boss. Here it is, and on the screen next to it is the model. I think they look pretty similar. Trying a split screen. Think I like it. So what does this part do? It captures our shoulder bolt and spring, and then we'll have another part we're going to make next called the pivot outside bracket. We're going to make out of this piece of aluminum, and that will attach over the head of this shoulder bolt. And there it is, our finished pivot outside bracket. Let's compare that to our computer model, and I'd say it looks pretty darn similar. I have measured it, just so you know, and it is going to work as a part in this system. And of course, we have two of these because we have one on the right and one on the left of the luggage. So the next part we're going to make, and the last part, is going to be, I believe, called the pivot boss with the handle. Let's get started. Okay, a little bit of a jump forward, but we did finish the pivot boss. Here you can see I have also done some smaller cuts on it, like this relief here for the latch and another relief here for the torsion spring. This pivot assembly, hinge assembly, was a challenge. This has actually been a couple of days working on these parts. There was quite a lot of fitment specifications. For example, this pin system that I've created out of stainless steel, it's very specific how it interfaces with that notch. It has to create a wedge effect in there, so the alignment has to be of a certain level of precision. So rather than me try to show you how all this works, let's go over to one of the boxes where I have one of these hinge assemblies mounted, and we can see how it works. Here's the entire hinge assembly. There are two of them, of course, put onto one of the actual luggage boxes, and you can see that this pivot boss will rotate up. This is the down position with the handle in storage, I guess we'll call it. You lift it up. This pin will then interface with this relief, and you get this effect. Holds it in place. It's actually pretty firmly on there because of the wedge effect. To release it, we pull back on the pin assembly. There is a spring in here, and drops back down. I don't think it's going to be violent like that when we're done because of the handle. We'll add inertia and weight, and there'll probably be some resistance in the fitment, but that is essentially the effect we get. So what we need to do now is make a handle to go onto this hinge. So here we have the handle that I created. I basically just took 1-inch aluminum tubing, cut a bunch of 22.5-degree cuts, and tacked it up. Here you can see our pivot bosses down here at the bottom. Now, the key with a handle like this that needs to pivot, 180 degrees, we need to make sure that these pivots are absolutely concentric. You're not going to get that on the box. Those hinge assemblies you saw, they can move around. So what I did is I took a piece of solid aluminum tube, threaded it on the lathe so it's centered, and assembled it on this, we'll call it a fixture, a welding fixture. So those pivots are now as concentric as they can be. Tack weld it, done. I am not actually going to finish welding this. I want this to have actually some kind of beauty welds, let's call it, on the aluminum. So I'm actually going to take it over to a friend of mine who is a much better welder than I, for him to give us some nice beauty welds. I could get close. They just won't be 100% as far as those beautiful stack dime look you want. We got our handle back from the welder. Looks good. We got everything assembled. Let's see how it works. So the handle is obviously down in its storage travel position. This will then be the up position, and you can see that it's locked in there. There is no movement on that handle, which was the point of the mildly involved pivot system that we built. To release that, we just pull on those two tabs, and it drops. There's a little bit of resistance, which is what I wanted. Goes down to the fold position. When we finalize this, I'm going to have a foam pad or some sort of gripping pad that'll keep that from clanking shut. We'll round off a lot more of these corners. And of course, we're going to send the luggage out to get powder coated on the inside. And we're also going to send all this aluminum to go get anodized, and probably hard anodized, which will make it even more robust. However, I think what we need to do now is put it all together, the wheels, the lower, the upper, the handle, and let's do a field test outside in the real world. All right, so here's the scenario. You pull up to your favorite hotel, or maybe your least favorite, doesn't really matter. You've booked in, you've checked in, except they're all out of rooms here locally, so you have to go to their satellite set of rooms. Now in this case, what I've chosen is a random location here in town, which just happens to be our brewery, and it is approximately just a sliver under 1 mile away. So, well, my goal here is to see if I can, in full kit, take my entire setup here and in one run, walk and roll to the brewery here in town about 1 mile away. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna time how long it takes me to de-load this off the bike and assemble the boxes as you have seen before. I've actually never done this. This is the first time I've done it. I want this to be real. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna start the timer now to see how long it takes me to unload my setup here into what we just created, that whole luggage system. Here we go, start the clock now. There you go, stop the clock. That's how long it took. You see it, I don't, but I'm gonna assume it's pretty darn quick. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna see if, prove to you that we are not moving just air here. We're gonna go ahead and weigh the whole setup. And by the way, this beaver tail system on this bag is gonna be perfect for holding it on the handle there. Or so I think. We're gonna find out on the moving test. So let's weigh it. All right, here you see the entire luggage system. Now what I did is I put cinder blocks in each one of the panniers, and actually in the bag is my full camping kit. So it's pretty darn realistic. And we are running 120 pounds. So there you go. That is the amount of weight we are going to move to our next destination. Well, there you go. There is all the factors in numbers for this setup. The final test is the can we make the distance? And I need to be in full kit because that is the plan. Everything that is not bolted down to the bike comes with me, including my helmet. So there's that. Put on the gloves. And then like I said, we're gonna move about a mile to the local brewery. Here we go. Actually, it's that way. Now, I'm not saying that this test is of Chuck Yeager type risk, but hey, I mean, a couple of facts here. I'm not a young man anymore, and I am at altitude. We're at not quite 9,000 feet. And, you know, it's a pretty rough neighborhood around here. You've got our target right there, which is not even a super target, it's a regular one. So it's kind of rough up here in Silverthorne, Colorado. But anyways, testing must prevail. We're gonna find out if this rig can make the full mile. Let's keep going. All right, I'm starting to think that 120 pounds might have been a little ambitious, but for the sake of science, we need to find the limit, so let's keep going. All right, if you look behind me there, right around there, that's our local KTM dealer. I was thinking I'd go in there with this setup and say, oh man, my 1290 broke down on the highway. One of the 12 computers burned up. Ah! See what they say. But then they're kind of my neighbors and I need to stay on good grounds with them. So onward with the science. Afternoon. That guy's wondering what's up. Yes, after almost a mile, we have finally made it to Angry James Brewery. Probably just got blasted by the sun. Here we are. All right, we're not going up those steps. We're gonna go around the service entrance. I hope they're open. I'll have a blonde.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Big fan of blondes myself.
Everyone likes a blonde. There you go, successful test. We're having our celebratory beer. I should probably be drinking water after that, but I'm no doctor, so beer it is. Things we did learn on this test, as you should learn with every test, is one, as much as it is easier to roll 120 pounds, there is still some effort involved. I'm not going to say that was incredibly easy to roll 120 pounds a mile, but it certainly would be easier, or is easier, than trying to carry 120 pounds a mile. So success there. Nothing broke, nothing came apart, nothing came loose. Obviously, the final test will be in a foreign country after a long duration of use. So that's the end of the test. Being a success, stay tuned because I think I'm going to have a couple more cool mods you're going to enjoy on MechanicO. So there we go. And I'm going to go talk to those lovely ladies over there because I think they're checking out my luggage. Hey. Oh, yeah, I'm not using that chair. Yeah, you can take it.